Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour Podcast.
Yes, hello, everybody. Welcome to Power Hour 220. Thank you for joining us tonight. Bri, we almost joined each other tonight. We almost broke the streak.
We almost did, and then you tried to bring COVID back into style, and I was not going to let you do it, Jim.
Yeah, it's fine.
I was not going to let you. You know what's funny? You writing that, and I now know 3 other people who randomly have caught it, at my work. They're like, "Oh, I'm not coming in the office because I'm like, wow." And even one of them was like, "Yeah, who gets COVID anymore?" And
yeah, my in-laws have it, so I tested. I'm so far fine. I'm not anything, but I assumed that they got it after we hung out because it was a different group of family that they were seeing. But we're playing it safe, so one more week, we're here.
Is there even if you catch it, are you still not supposed to do things?
Yeah, who the hell knows at this point?
I really don't I really don't even know the rules anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, really. I guess it matters? Doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. But Chambers, you know what does matter? You know, we've moved you from your Russian basement. And I know you're in a transition period, and you had that nice little period with being at our buddy's house.
Oh, yeah.
But now, you're getting closer to your game room. That's the important part.
Yes, I'm finally moved into my new house. It is a ramshackle affair right now. Just shit absolutely everywhere. The game room will be the last thing to be set up, so it'll be a while before you see that. But yeah, so I'll probably have a few locations as unboxings happen. Shit gets moved around. Precious little space. I'm at my wife's work desk right now, so I'm having a day, Brian.
Jim, I would say you're having a couple months.
Yeah, you could say that. I would say that's probably pretty fair.
I would say 2020. You know what? I'd say for you and me, Jim, 2023 has not been our year.
What for you? What the hell happened besides you?
I've been basically sick since goddamn May.
Whose fault is that? You're the one who doesn't know how to wipe, taking your goddamn pink eye test.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about my sinus shit.
Nah.
No, I took a strep test. You don't do a test for pink eye, silly goose. They just look at it and they say, yeah.
Shoving those particles right up your old nostrils there, right in your mouth.
But Jim, what if it was from the Worcestershire sauce, like in the episode of South Park, where they turn everyone into zombies?
Oh God, it's been forever since I saw that one. Jesus, got me there.
Come on, Jim. I thought you liked good stuff. God.
I don't do anything.
Jim, speaking of your game room, before we got on, I saw, I'll call it X from now on, because X gonna give it to you, because it's no longer Twitter.
Go on.
Someone shared they customized their game room and just themed it 100% Zelda. I guess my question for you is, if you did have to theme your game room one game or franchise, what would it be?
That's a good question. I actually have no idea. Do I, at this point in my life, do I like anything enough that I would?
Well, that's my question. I feel like if you did have to pick just one thing, and maybe it's not even a game, it could be Star Trek, or it could be I don't know, something that you're super passionate about, but you want to have a theme, a solid one consistent theme for your whole game room.
I get maybe Streets of Rage. Maybe I'd find something to do with that. Little mural to go around.
See, I almost imagined you were gonna go. What's that knockoff Pokemon? Yu-Gi-Oh or something.
Yu-Gi-Oh. That would be cool. I don't know if I would because Streets of Rage I'm entwined with. Sure. Yu-Gi-Oh I haven't really kept up with. The new formats scare me. I'll be honest with you. Anyone out there who's ever seen the formats these days, it is so goddamn confusing. I read the cards that come out and what the new meta is, and it's all based around first turn kills and one turn kills, and I'm just there is no way in hell I could ever mentally keep up with all this bullcrap.
So
this doesn't even sound fun. If you don't win in one turn, you're done. What kind of tournament setting is that? Awful.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to mix it up. Doesn't sound like they're going to do it successfully, but they're trying.
I mean, it's still around, so I guess it's doing good enough.
Yeah. But no, that's why I thought, when I saw that, I was for me, it's, I think
it would just be Dark Magician's girl boobs on one wall. And that would be it. So you know what, Brian? Maybe I will do it.
Jim, maybe like just a hentai theme for yours would be appropriate at this point.
All right, I'm gonna have to put a key lock on that door. I have to install a door first because it doesn't have one, then put a key lock.
See, mine's easy. It would just be a Resident Evil theme because it would just be horror and like that style. But yeah, like I was thinking about you, and I'm like, man, like I don't even think you have anymore. I feel like you just hate everything.
I don't have any more passions, Brian. Gotta be honest with you. I don't think I have anything left.
Jim,
I'm a broken man.
I know what your thing could be. It could be Tetris 99 because you surely have beat it since we last talked. It's been so long.
Has been a while, hasn't it? Well, I mean, I haven't touched a single video game in the last week and a half. But when I was on vacation, like you said last week, I finished up Mario Odyssey. Delight of a game. Like I wanted to keep like doing some more content, but I was like, I got to move on to other shit. What am I moving on to? I don't have time for anything. And I did play a couple games of Tetris. Had a second placer. Thought it was finally going to happen. Thought vacation might be a change of setting, a change of scenery, maybe.
How was it down to the wire, or did you get it in second and were wiped out almost instantly?
I held my own for like maybe 30 seconds, and then it was just like dead. I was like, well, fuck.
Oh, was that did that result in an audible like fuck?
No, like everything else in my life right now, Brian, it just resulted in a
Jim. I want you to get that win.
Right, wake up every morning, see that beautiful sunrise, and go, oh, good. This again.
Damn it, Jim. Well, at least you finished a game. That's good.
Yeah, that is true.
That's a plus. Now, where is it ranking? Because this year you also beat, what was it, Super Mario World?
I think I liked Odyssey more than World.
Did you?
Yeah. Like,
is
Odyssey,
it just like a shit ton more content?
I mean, there's besides being like, I mean, it's actually crazy how much content's in World, considering that was rushed out. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the amount of content in Odyssey, if you wanted to go for all of it, it's insane. Like, there's like 800 of those like power moons to collect, and like there's so many like warps and secrets everywhere. And it's one of those games where like almost anything you do, you kind of get rewarded. So like it's just instant gratification with like just trying something, and it's like, oh, there's a moon, cool,
nice.
And then there's like a lot of throwbacks, a lot of nostalgia callbacks that they have in there. I mean, it honestly might be like I haven't played all the 3D Marios, but like I hear other people say it's the best one, and I'd have to agree at this point. Like, I don't know how you're gonna make a better game than that. Like, it was basically almost perfect.
I was going to say, I know you were a huge fan of 64, so would you choose this over 64?
Yeah, just because, like, it aged better. Like, it doesn't... I mean, well, obviously it aged better. It's only from a few years ago. But there's the quality of life improvements. Like, I'm always going to have a ton of nostalgia for 64. But I think just overall... Like, there wasn't a single level that I played in my playthrough that I went, oh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Where, like, if I went back, I'm like, now that I've played them all, I know there wouldn't be one where I go, I don't want to do this. Mm-hmm. Where there's ones in 64 where it's like, shit, what's that one where, like, you have to hit the levers to, like, do the water up and down, do, like, the 3 different tiers? Like, I always hated that level. Mm-hmm. Tick-Tock Clock's kind of a pain in the ass. Even the Bowser fights, just trying to aim Bowser right at those mines, like, that's a pain in the dick. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the soundtrack's burned into my memory, but gameplay-wise, Odyssey has it.
Okay. Nice.
If I had, like, one knock on it, I think New Donk City is probably, like, one of the best levels ever made in a platformer. And that's, like, the halfway point. So, like, it kind of feels like everything's a little bit of a downturn after that high, but everything was still really good.
Gotcha. No, I mean, that's another one that's on my, like, one day down the line list. It's not like certain franchises like Kirby that I'm never going to touch. I know I'm going to get to it. I just... Like you, the backlog is insane. You know, I know so you and I have talked, and I know I mentioned on the podcast. Can't wait to do our Body Harvest review. Really share my thoughts on that guy. But I dipped my toes now into a new game, and it's one you beat last year, Blasphemous.
Oh, nice.
So it's I got it for free on Game Pass, one of those streaming shits. I've been playing on the Xbox, and yeah, I mean, I know you know, it's an excellent guess you call it a Metroidvania.
Oh, it's definitely a Metroidvania.
And it's got it's got that extreme. I almost give it like a Bloodborne feel mixed with Dante's Inferno.
That's what people call it. They always people call it Metroid mixed with Dark Souls, basically.
Yeah, and it's what I like about it is there's a lot of Metroidvanias where I'm literally like, where the fuck do I get? Like, I have no idea. In this one, there is cryptic shit. Like, once I start discovering, like, oh, if you hit some random walls, they open up. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like, everywhere I go, I hit a wall. And then I was, I don't even know how far along. I think I'm only 25% along, but like, I accidentally like did a down attack and opened up like an underground section. I went, oh, what the fuck? You can do this too? So now I'm like hitting the ground at spots, but it's definitely like it's fun and it's tough, but it's fair. And I feel like it's definitely like so far for me, like if I fuck up, it's like I genuinely recognize like I'm just not good enough yet. Like, so I'm not frustrated. I have died plenty of times, and I like that little system with the guilt where like you got to get your soul back or you can't power up as much.
Right.
But no, excellent game. The game design is one of the things I think I like, even or the style,
the art direction.
It's excellent, and the map design. Like I said, I like how I like went up into the snowy mountains and then eventually found an elevator. It took me back down, and like it all ends up getting interconnected. So I really, really appreciate that piece of it. Excellent game. Other than that, I did play some more Dead by Daylight. I've been dabbling a little more in that, and I'm just when I play, I just try to fully turn my brain off and just not care. But what's definitely gonna have me back in that game is that they just announced their next major chapter is gonna be bringing Alien in. So I don't know how this franchise pulls the licenses they do. It's the thing that keeps this game going. Like, I call it the Smash Brothers of horror games at this point. Like, the way they
at this point,
licenses.
It seems like the Fortnite of horror games, where it's just like, it's getting every goddamn license. It's actually funny, like, another podcast, like, Biggest Problem in the Universe talked about, where, like, they're saying the problem is that how, like, every single franchise at this point does, like, the Fortnite model, where they just, like, glom up all the IPs they can, and, like, you just have all these goddamn cameos.
Yeah.
Like, is it, like, I don't know, I'm still in this stage where I'm, like, I still kind of like it, and I think it's cool. Like, I'm not really as worried about these IPs losing their identity, whatever bullshit, like, people are saying about.
That shit is so corny to me. Like, do collaborations. Like, even Fortnite, dude. I see clips of that game when, like, people... And they're not just, like, skins. Like, when I see, like, when they're, like, you're a Jedi and you actually have Jedi powers and shit like that. I'm like, that's awesome. Like... Anyone who hates on that, I don't know why. Like, if you think your Star Wars shit isn't already watered down at this point, you're worried about Fortnite being the thing, you missed the mark a long time ago. You know,
it is kind of weird seeing Call of Duty ape the Fortnite model with that, and like now they're throwing in like, what are they throwing in, like
the
Cardi
boys.
B or like Nicki Minaj, I think.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, they've been cowtailing the random celebrities. I think they're the first. No, they're not the first celebrities. I'm trying to remember way back when. You remember that one commercial when it was one of the Black Ops and it had,
it was the Super Bowl commercial when it had all the celebrities.
Yeah, like, so they've definitely always been big with that. And I know they even did skins for what's his name? Tim the Tat Man and Nick Merckx, but they pulled them. Some bullshit like everything else. But like they even brought like streamer skins in there. So Call of Duty, I haven't touched that thing in a while. Warzone, I still look at it as its own thing. I'm like, that goofiness is fine. I don't think it waters down the product. I think we're so far past the point of any shooter trying to be super realistic when they started implementing shimmering gold and pink camos and all this other like over-the-top crazy shit. So I think the people who are upset are the same assholes that are upset. They're like, oh, this band isn't indie enough now. They sold out now. Like, you're corny. Shut up. Like,
oh, God, do I wish I could sell out. Oh, my God.
like anyone who bitches about it they are the ones that would sell out first. I've always hated that. There's a difference between, like, the shit that's happened with, like, say, Halloween and how they fuck that franchise into oblivion versus if they just throw Michael Myers in Call of Duty like they did or other franchises. It's not watering down the character of Michael Myers. Like, no, that it's separate. So,
Right, there is so much hope in this new trilogy of Halloween movies started.
well,
What happened?
well, it's all done now, Jim, so it doesn't matter. At least for now.
It didn't happen.
But yeah, no. So yeah, Dead by Daylight, like I said, that's my thing. So Blasphemous, I think, will be the next one I beat. I had previously started Callisto Protocol. I do like that game. It's just Blasphemous has my heart right now. I really like it, and every time I just want to advance a little bit further. And god damn it, if those save points can be a little bit more, not so spread out, because that's the worst part. Is you're like, fuck.
That thing had like the gelatinous thing where it's like, oh, thank God I got to a save point.
Yes, 1,000%. But no, you know, I know. I think once I'm done Blasphemous, then I'm gonna get back on my list of games I need to beat. So we'll see what I go with. But James,
my resolution list is fucked this year. I have
dude.
no delusions of grandeur for that. I'll be lucky to hit the 23. I'm not gonna hit those resolution games.
Jim, if I can, and I'm gonna make every effort while I still am borrowing your retro tank, I want to beat Ocarina of Time. But just I thought about turning it on the other day, and just the thought went,
Right, it's not even that long of a game.
it's like 12 hours to 15 hours at least.
It's not that long. In the
That-
grand scheme of things these days.
We'll see. We'll see. I need to get it done just because I want to give you that game back and never have to look at it again. I mean, maybe I beat it and I love the shit out of it. I don't know, but Chambers. The other good news is I am back to pretty regularly drinking beer. This weekend when I had my barbecue was the first time I've gotten legit, probably tipsy, and I don't know how long. And I have a lot of leftover, going back to old classics. I got the Leinenkugel Summer Variety Pack. So I got the Summer Shandy, I got the Honey Lemon Light, and the Juicy Peach. And I think there's a grapefruit one as too, out there as well. I love the shit out of these beers. Like, just enough flavor, not too fruity, not too sweet, and they're only come in at about, they don't say.
Only like 5 or 6 probably.
I feel, oh no, 4.2. So they're light.
Even
They're
lighter.
light boys. Yeah.
Basically a Coors Light.
Yeah. So Chambers, what are you drinking tonight to ease all your Tetris pains?
Actually don't. Not enough Tetris in the world, Brian. We're a beer in the world for that. Actually, I'm drinking one of my Rush beers because I don't have a lot cold in my fridge right now. And I was planning on coming over, so that doesn't help either. But yeah, now that I think about it, I think this is actually my first beer in my new house. Because every time I've been coming over here, it's just been work. Either go back to my buddy's place or now work, pass out. So yeah, first beer in the new house. Cheers, everybody. But Brian, this is not the first beer that's been drunk in my house because my fucking contractors drank some of my goddamn beer while they were working here.
What?
Yeah. It's fucking people out there, if you ever have work done with, and don't cheap out. Like, don't cheap out with your fucking contractors. Because, so this one guy, he was just like, I go to my house to start painting, and I see all these things everywhere, like, you know, cans and shit. And this combination of stuff couldn't be anyone else's. Like, it was ours. Like, you had like High Noons and White Claws and like a Keystone and a canned Bloody Mary that I had. So obviously it was ours. So I talked to like the general guy, and we're like, hey. One, hey, can they not drink my stuff? And two, can they at least clean up because I have a kid? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll talk to him. So it fucking happened again. So I go to him and I'm like, well, what the fuck? And he's basically like, oh yeah, that's this guy. He's a good worker, but he's basically a functional alcoholic. And I was just like, that's not a good answer.
Yeah, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, reimburse me for my drinks. I mean, I would have just right off the bat said, reimburse me for that shit. But like, that's absolutely ridiculous.
So, yeah. On top of everything else with this move and all, that's the shit I'm doing. Besides last week when I was abandoned for 12 hours by AAA waiting for a fucking tow. So, the service industry is just doing me so well lately, Brian. Jimmy's having a time. I'm going to enjoy this fucking Rush beer. That's what I'm going to goddamn do.
You know, it is
All the
funny.
world is indeed in stage, and we are merely players.
It is funny, Jim. At when I came by one of the times to pick up something and drop it in your house, I did see. I forget if it was in the backyard or front yard, but I saw like Keystones or something. Like I saw a beer and I was like,
Oh no, that was a different time. That was from the Roofers, but they had their own beer. They were crushing a couple of High Lifes. So fuck it.
I definitely saw something. I was like, oh, okay. Like I just assumed. I was like, oh, maybe Jim already came over and was drinking.
Nope. Although they did throw their High Lifes in like fucking one of my like landscape. You know those like bags you get at Home Depot to put like leaves in and shit like that.
Yeah.
They just threw like random trash in there. I was like,
well, that doesn't matter, Jim. Come on.
No.
You're like my wife with that. Like I'll have
can be bitchy.
I'll have 17 bags of that shit, and like I'll just be like, oh, there's a paper plate. I'm just gonna throw it in there. She's like, you can't throw it in there. I'm like, it's fine.
Bro, you're ruining the environment.
God
the
damn
sea
it.
levels are rising because of fucks you.
Damn it, Jim. Don't you dare. Jim, wait. One other tangent before we hit up our Patreon questions. When you organize your shit, I want to see if you're on my side. You better be on my side with this.
Cap.
When you get to titles, let's start with the. Do you organize and have the like in the T section and everything follows? Or whatever follows the, you place throughout the rest of your collection?
I'm trying to remember how I had it set up before, but I think I ignored the.
You son of a bitch.
Yes.
That is the... I hate that so much. Like, I adhere to an alphabetical system because I keep everything on spreadsheets where I keep
I'm an alphabetical boy too.
But unless you don't type the, then if you keep your spreadsheet organized alphabetically, then it's going to be misorganized if you don't put it in the right place.
It is true. It's a stickler.
Because I got into that with the wife. She was going through one of our old, 100 DVD folder things.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, oh, you got, whatever, The Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, it's in the wrong spot. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I thought you put it in order. I was like, I did. It's the. She's like, oh, you don't use the when you organize. So I hate that you just said that, Jim. Now I'm going to reorganize all your stuff after you organize it.
Right. I'll take free organization as is.
How much more did it make you want to get rid of shit? Now that, I've been with you.
Ever started collecting during this fucking move. Every box that just accumulated, I was like, why did I do this to myself? What have I done?
The unpacking, though, is going to be the
fucking
interesting
nightmare.
part. Like, do you think as you're unpacking, you might at this point just go, I might just sell some of this shit?
I'm very strongly considering it. I'm just like, there's so much shit, and there's so much shit I'm never going to touch. What the fuck am I doing with all this crap?
Jim, be like Pam and sell it all.
Yeah, she had a good point.
It's a valid point. I'll say that.
I'm like looking at certain systems. I'm like, I could get rid of everything but like 5 games, and I would be happy.
Yeah, Genesis, of course.
You shut your whore mouth.
All right, Chambers. So, what do we got this week from Patreon?
Patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question that we'll answer on each and every single one of these Power Hour podcasts, unless Brian doesn't open up the goddamn Patreon page to see all the fucking questions like he did last week.
Wah.
Goddamn right, wah. We are paying customers. I care about them.
You miss questions every single week.
I don't miss dick.
One time I missed it.
They get it in late and I make it up. They were in well before. So, first up from JD Maines. Which is more painful for Philly? Here we go. The 2005 Super Bowl loss to the cheating Pats or the 2023 Super Bowl loss to Andy Reid?
For me, 100% Andy Reid. I mean, we lost to the Pats it was knowingly like how goddamn good they were. It was a painful loss, don't get me wrong. But that was also our first time getting there. And it was just like, oh my God, we got here. Like, that was hype. Last year, I still believe we were robbed. The fucking refs had to protect their new golden boy. And with Hurts basically carrying that whole game, he deserved the win. So last year hurt a lot more. I still hate Reed. I know Jim is of a different ilk of like, I'm glad to see him get, no.
What? When have I ever said I'm glad
you said
for
that
Andy Reid
last
to get
year.
a fight?
You said
I never once said that. You shut your
you
whore
said
fucking
it multiple
liar mouth.
times. You said
I have never once said I'm glad for Andy
You said
Reid.
I'm fine.
I
with
hope he dies in a fire, and it'll take a long time because he's all blubber. Fuck that fat sack of shit.
You also like Pat Mahomes' annoying brother, so you know.
I don't even know who his brother is.
Without doubt, last year, just because it was, I'm still calling it a goddamn robbery, and I think you play that game multiple times and we win more than half.
I mean, I got to go the Andy Reid one too, because we were up by 10 and a half, and you fucking blew it, and you gave up 3 touchdowns to the exact same play. Like that one call, like it was very ticky tack. Like I think it was bullshit, but that isn't the reason we lost. We fucking blew it. That's why we goddamn lost. We had the world by the balls in the second half, and they fucking blew it. And that fat, awful coach, awful parent, fat sack of shit, fraud Andy Reid had to fucking goddamn stick it one more time to the goddamn Philadelphia fan base. God fucking damn it.
Yeah, the Pats loss didn't burn me that bad. And
I mean, no, that was devastating for young Jimmy. That was awful.
Oh, it was upsetting. But once again, my expectations were just like, holy hell, we're here. Now that we've tasted it, and especially last year when we're the team, I had different expectations going into the game.
The Patriots game hurt really a lot too because it was so close the entire time.
It was.
It was neck and neck the entire time. Whereas with this fucking last one, we had a lead, and we had a big lead, and we blew it.
Hurt more.
So yeah.
Neither one felt good though, but thank you, son of a bitch.
Yes, thank you, JD. Thank you so much. I'm so glad I came back to this question.
Jim, take a sip of your beer.
Oh, there's going to be sips. And also from last week, from Spaghetti, is everyone in Philly required to like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and that one Ween song? I don't know the Ween song. I only know a few Ween songs.
I don't know. Ween, I think everyone in the world is required to like It's Always Sunny, and if you don't, then you're probably someone that, like, Friends is your favorite show, or goddamn Big Bang Theory.
A good show's a good show. You know? Good show's a good show. What do you want? Huh?
It's great show. Isn't it now considered the longest running?
I think it is the longest running, like, real life sitcom ever.
Yeah. So,
of all fucking shows, Always Sunny. Too.
I know. The one that I never would have suspected, but I still drive my wife crazy because every night I recycle all 17 seasons. Like I'll go through them like 1 or 2 episodes every night, and when I'm done, I just recycle. That's my comfort thing before bed.
But Brian, you're taking time away from her to watch The Office.
God damn. I've watched enough, and now that's on Comedy Central. That's usually my background noise. Still love that show.
Is that where it is? I haven't watched. I haven't had basic cable in years.
Yeah. Oh man! Look at me. My name's Jim. Man.
Look at me. I find other ways to waste money, man. Next up from Michael Soto. So the other day I got a boxer's fracture because I thought it would be a good idea to punch the ground. Okay. What is the dumbest thing you guys have done in a moment of anger?
I think I have a lot of those. I might need a minute, Jim. If you know one off the top of your head,
I got one. That's a little heartwarming almost. A little wholesome. So, years ago, we're out at a bar, my now wife and I. We're at the bar, we're with a bunch of friends, having a good time, and for, the beer is flowing, the booze is going. For whatever reason, we get pissed off at each other. Things happen.
That's a normal occurrence, Jim. You're making it sound like it's a once in a while. Let's repaint this picture. It's just another day that ends with Y with these two, all right?
So we're yelling and screaming at each other as we leave this bar, and we're walking back to her apartment at the time, and I was I was carrying our leftovers. I think it was a big, like, fucking styrofoam full of, like, bar nachos. So I forget, we're going back, we're motherfucking each other. And I'm like, you goddamn bitch. And I just tossed the nachos, slammed them into the ground in the street. And she just looks at me and she goes, why did you do that? And I go, I don't know. And she's like, what if we want nachos later? I'm like, I want nachos now. And that kind of like instantly ended the fight.
God damn it, Jim. God damn it.
Those were good nachos too. I still think about those nachos. And what could have been.
I mean, I'm going to have to give a generic answer, but it would be my anger turned into something I ended up breaking, and then I regretted breaking it. Like, that's the easy answer. I'm trying to think of a specific one that really was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But Jim knows me. Even when I'm not angry, I break shit. Like, shit crumbles around me. But when I'm angry, it's amped up. There's so many things I've broken. Like, I think one of them was like something really stupid, probably with one of my exes, and like I was just, I don't know why I did it, but like
you broke your ex? Based.
No, like I think we were fighting in the car, and it was in my old Avenger, and like I took the CD out, and in my hand, like I squeezed it, and the pieces just shattered everywhere, and it ended up being a CD I really liked. So like it was just in that moment I needed to destroy something. And that seemed like the least like whatever. And then I remember being really mad, like, because I couldn't re-find the CD for like a long time. So that's probably the closest to like, I shouldn't have done that. So little tame, but yeah. Good question though, and I hope that break gets better, bud.
Yeah, I'm curious why you punched a grand. Well, then again, who knows? It's probably. I'm gonna go with a woman. I think a woman can induce that kind of rage. Either that or furniture. Trying to put together fucking furniture of some type, and it's just a piece that like came not perfectly lined up, and you just can't get it in there right. You just get so goddamn mad you want to bash the whole fucking thing. You can't tell I put together a lot of Amazon furniture, Brian.
I've been there.
Life. And next up from Snarkcast, when is the next Thirsty Thursday stream?
Whew. I don't know is the best answer. I'm trying to. Ironically enough, I think once school starts, I may be less busy on Thursdays with the kiddos and things I got going on. I have a lot of games I do want to. I'm basically saving for Thirsty Thursday. And I even bought games like on Steam that I only got just so I could try to play. So I'm hoping for sure over the next few weeks, I'm definitely going to try to start implementing it. And if I may even start looking to do alternate from Thursdays, maybe a Friday, like here and there. Like I really miss doing it. I have a lot of fun, and it actually is one of the ways I manage to beat games, because I can kind of like dedicate myself to sitting there and playing. So I 100% need to and want to get back to it. So I do miss doing that with you guys.
Yep. So there you go. That will wrap up the Patreon questions for this week. So once again, thank you to all of the patrons out there for the support. Really appreciate it. As always, if you're new to the page, head on over to YouTube, iTunes, or Spotify. Leave likes, leave some comments, subscribe. Anything you can do helps the page. Head on over to Patreon and check out all of our different tiers for exclusive content. The Krusty Corner exclusive bonus segments that we do weekly here. Brian loved this week's one. Absolutely loved it. Let's just say the legacy of Mr. Hands lives on. What'd you say, Brian?
I hate you.
And yeah, we have bonus. We actually do have to get around to doing another bonus episode with good old Nerdy Nick. Video game review requests, movie review requests, all that good shit. Head on over to Patreon.
Yeah. Thank you guys. We truly, truly appreciate it. Now, Chambers, I covered it last week. Man, oh man, could you have ever assumed, predicted, or foreseen the way Budweiser and Bud Light continue to just plummet?
Why do people care this much? Why are people still so mad about this? It was 1 week of Instagram ads. That's all it was. Why do you fucking... What person out there ties their personality to Bud Light so goddamn much? Or to any one beer?
Jim, for
What?
over 150 episodes, you had a Keystone flag behind yourself.
Oh, it'll come back, too.
So don't say what person ties themselves. You have a Keystone shirt. You have a Keystone flag. You want to be Keith Stone. So don't say that.
Right. They could put the people who I probably hate the most. They could put like tipster blowing Jesse Eisenberg in a commercial, and I'd still probably drink.
I'm going to argue with you.
All right.
If they made Seth Rogen Keith Stone, I know you would stop drinking it. Yeah,
tough.
exactly.
That'd be tough.
You would boycott it, and you would make a video of you burning that flag. So don't you dare.
I would not burn the flag.
You would take it down.
That'd be tough. I'd be editing past there.
Exactly. Don't you dare. Now, here's the thing, and I said it last week, and I'll say it again. You know, this latest news is basically Budweiser's having a lot of layoffs, and it's not frontline workers. It's people in their marketing and like home offices. They're saying it's a couple hundred. It's less than 2% of their 19,000 globally.
It's about 400 workers.
Yeah. Good. Like, somebody and a lot of people should get fired. I said, to your point, Jim, I agree. Who gets this mad? But at the same time, what have you and I said all the time about the bullshit Nintendo pulls, all these companies that pull this shit that people just continue to eat up? If you want to make an impact, say it with your wallet. People were like, hey, you got the biggest asshole in the world to be your ads person for this. We don't like that. This is how we will respond.
And this is why people are retarded, though. Because they don't do it for shit like Nintendo or companies that actively go out of their way to fuck over people.
But that's my
point.
point.
Over here, they just had one goddamn one ad.
And what I'm saying is, people in video games and everywhere else should follow suit. When you don't like something, stop buying it, and things happen.
I agree with that.
I'm saying, like, this is the thing I want to see people do more often with these companies. If you want to bitch about Marvel and their shitty movies now, and you want to bitch about Star Wars, and you want to bitch about video games, say it with your wallet. Don't support the shit. That's how you get some shit to change. Like, putting aside why, I'm saying I like that idea that, like, hey, this could actually work. It could result in something. You know, I like that piece of it. But once again, I can't ever defend, like, Bud Light's not that good of a beer. It's not a good beer at all. And the people who, like, that was their go-to beer is probably because they just grew up in a family. It was Bud Light, Bud Light. Now they've moved on, and now they're like, oh, Coors Light, Miller Lite. It's, like, all the same. And they're going to stay off of it. Like, that was my point last week, is if they've converted from one macro beer to another, it's not a big delta. Like, I don't care what Bud Light does. They're probably not pulling customers back. And Yuengling is on the rise, which is why I love all this anyway. And I said that last week. So I support it. If Yuengling can get in that top 3 spot, I'll support this all the way.
I mean, I got to pull for our local boys there. That's fine. Yeah. I'm happy for our local boys.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's just for the dumbest.
Do you not think, though, honestly, Jim, with how stupid they were and how they've mishandled the campaigns since that ad and everything, did you really not think a bunch of marketing people and those home office people were going to get fired?
Well, I mean, like, if the sales keep plummeting like this, some heads got to roll. Yeah, it makes sense.
And I'm just glad it's not like the frontline dudes. That's what I said. Like, that's the part, like, I would worry about more. Like, the actual brewers, workers, truck drivers. Like, that's the people I don't want to see hurt. I want to see the idiots who came up with the dumb ideas get axed.
I mean, yeah, I get... man, I don't know. It's just like... I just can't stop saying, who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares this goddamn much?
The people, Jim. The people.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, like, I guess, I mean, I guess, you know, again, like, kind of fuck Bud Light, too, because, like, if you're gonna make some kind of statement, then stick by your fucking statement. Don't immediately backtrack because you're fucking, oh, no, we had a 2% sales dip. Oh, well, that never happened. So now they've successfully pissed off every side. So, you know, fuck Bud Light, whatever. But, like, the original, God, it's just, all around, every corner of this. Why is it was April. It was April 1st. Why are we still talking about it? It's fucking August.
I mean, is this
it's
a caution?
August.
Jim, I'm just going to say it. Is this a cautionary tale against pandering?
I guess know your audience. But again, like, I don't even know the pandering. Like, if it was pandering, it would have been during Pride Month.
But like you said, no. I'm saying the pandering is they did that stunt. It failed. They tried to reverse it. Got pissed off. Then they tried to reverse their statements completely, but then they were like, okay, now we're going to host Pride events during Pride Month, and they were like, not want it on any side. Like you said, no side wants them now. So it's like they were pandering. Then they were like, shit, we better repander.
Well, I mean, is it pandering or is it just trying to reach out to a different audience?
I think it's
like
just...
like in what way is just like giving one trans person a beer pandering?
By trying to just jump on a political hot topic and get views that are unsincere. Like there are breweries that like we said during this whole thing
that go out of their way to always be like, you know, LGBT
exactly.
friendly and all that shit.
Yeah. And there's some, like, I'm saying if that is your thing, that's your thing. Don't just do it because it's the thing that may make you a little bit more money, which is all that was. That's 100% all that was.
Oh, yeah, that is all that was, yeah.
So that, to me, is what pandering is. Like, you're not doing it because you actually care. You were like, this could help our bottom line. They made and they chose a shitty person to do it.
They did choose a person that seemingly no one likes. So
it's like,
true.
Yeah, they're getting the slap on the wrist they deserve. And, you know, once again, the major company will be fine. Bud Light, I'm sure, in the very, very end will be fine. But it is, I got to say it again, it is funny. Went to a beer store for the barbecue. Bud Light numbers, I mean, the cases are, you can get some dirt cheap right now. But the stacks were so high of that and everything else was like down. It's just...
That's another thing that's pissing me off, that I don't live in like a pissed off enough area. I want my goddamn $7 case. I would be swimming in Bud Light right now if I was living in those areas. I'm a man of savings, Brian. I don't give a fuck about what you're pissed off about.
Listen.
But no, I gotta live fucking near a fucking big blue city, so it's still goddamn 20-some bucks a case. Bullshit.
It's you know, I don't know where it ends in terms of, like, I feel like the layoffs are the last piece, right? They've already tried to reverse market this thing. They've cut all ties. They're now doing layoffs. Like, they will probably just lay low and just fly on their radar. And they'll, I don't know, maybe their sales never quite return to the same numbers, but in the grand scheme, they'll be fine. They're still going to be always within that top 5, if not top 10 of like best selling beer in the world. So who cares? At the end of the day,
they need to get back their core audience. They need to just they need to send Jason Aldean a Bud Light with his face on it. Then they'll win them all back.
I mean, if you want to go to your core audience, that's probably what you got to do.
God, this fucking day and age.
Know your audience, Jim. That's why you have Krusty Corner.
That is true. The people demand the crust, and I give it.
It'd be like if you about face and be like, you know what's nice? Celibacy.
You know what I like doing? Reading.
Oh, God damn it, Jim.
I love going to church. Church is great in reading. I love enriching my mind.
But much like the saga from Microsoft, we'll keep this. We'll see if anything more comes from it. I have to imagine, though, this has to be the last big thing that happened. Like, nothing else major I can really imagine.
Well, Brian, maybe they will learn from this. But, Brian, people out there got to learn. And if you want to learn, sometimes you might have to do it through an online course. So, we're not sponsored, but we do have an affiliate link below to Skillshare. So, they have thousands of courses online courses. If you want to build a website, want to learn how to cook, play an instrument, whatever you want, head on down to Skillshare, check out their options, sign up for some online classes, and use our code DBPG30 to get 30% off your first year. So they have like 10,000 courses on that site. So whatever you want to learn, they probably have something for you. Check the link below. Help us out.
Jim, let's learn beer making.
We could do this. And not do it with one of those like crappy Rite Aid beer kits either. Do it
Let's
the right
do it.
way.
Let's do it.
We'd learn from an actual brewer, Brian. One we might actually like, too.
Jim, should I put a course on there on how to beat Tetris 99?
Maybe you should, Brian. Maybe you should.
I'll give you a discount.
Maybe I can put a course up there. How to cope with constant failure.
The Silver Lining. Well, there's already a movie. I was going to say Silver Linings Playbook. The Bronze Lining Playbook.
There's no silver lining. There's never a silver lining.
Well, Jim, you said there's never a silver lining, but I want to see if you can find one in this next article. Because the ESRB, who everyone loves to hate, has launched a new way to
Wait,
help.
are you saying that as like we shouldn't hate the ESRB?
No. I'm saying we should. I'm challenging you to find a good in this. Next article is that in an attempt to save the children, cue the Simpsons woman, they're going to start launching facial recognition to kind of give you an age estimator. What I will say is the tech for this sounds very, very like low grade. And essentially, like, they're going to try to institute a system where a parent, like, if our kids decide they want to play a game and we want to lock games unless we give authorization, we would send in selfies. They'd analyze them, see if they're age appropriate, and then we could unlock that for the children. There's so many weird things about that, but number one, how goddamn easy would that be to fool by just sending in a selfie of an adult every time? Because what they claim, and I don't buy it for one goddamn second, is we don't save your photos. It's a yes-no algorithm that just it pinpoints like all these numbers based on your face, compares it to other ages, and then it'll say, boop, yes, you're old. You look approximately old enough, which is obviously a huge problem because some people look young, some people look old as shit. You know, like that. All that doesn't work, but they claim they're never going to save it. Not like what happened on Snapchat and all these other things where, oh, surprise, surprise, they have servers with all that shit on there. I think whoever thinks this would be a good idea, and I'm all for, like, as a parent myself, I have to put in a code on the Switch because my son friggin' bought $100 worth of shit. I didn't know I had it unlocked.
Oh no!
Yeah, he bought like 100 like Minecraft coins, and I was like, what the fuck is this? He's like, oh, Dad, I bought all this stuff. I was like, what do you mean you bought it? He's like, yeah, I just clicked this and I was like,
fuck. I've become the stories I read on my show.
Yeah. So I put in a code. It's not a long code, and now he doesn't know that code. Could he figure it out? I'm sure at some point. But, like, that's good enough. I don't need my facial recognition to unlock shit. I don't want that. I'm not for that. I don't know. What do you think, Jim? Is there anything valid or good about this shit?
No! There's nothing good about this. There's no way in hell they ever delete any picture ever. It's going to take your picture. It's going to sell your picture. It's going to be sold fucking somewhere. And you know where this goddamn whole thing idea started in? Fucking China. Because Tencent has a similar program that requires them to use facial recognition to get more time to play games. So they're basically doing it with parental locks, like you said, but no dub shit. Me no likey.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there is this other idea of
super duper promised to delete your photos. Oh, fucking, will ya? Oh, has anyone else ever done that has said that they will? Get the fuck out of here.
I'm also, though, I will say, Jim, I'm at that threshold now where, like, the concern. Well, the concern of, like, just like people are like, remember when internet, like, when our parents would be like, you can't ever put your credit card on the internet. Someone's going to steal it. Now it's so goddamn common that, like, you don't live without having all your shit on the internet. And facial recognition is a shit where everyone's like, they're still trying to push back. I'm like, at this point, if you own an iPhone, if you own an Amazon device, if you own a camera, guess what? I promise you, you've been facially recognized everywhere. If you have a passport, if you have an ID, like another company doing it, I don't like it.
Do you have any social media?
Yeah. If you have anything, you are 100% already there. Like, that's like this whole shit with AI and where that's gonna go. Like,
it is funny when Threads started up, how like a lot of the detractors immediately were like, "Oh, well, all the fine print says that they have access to all your info." It's like, motherfucker, like it's owned by Facebook and Instagram, and you're signing up with your Instagram account. Like they already have it. Like what the fuck are you bitching about?
They have it, and what do you think Twitter has too? Like any social media, if you read deep enough, they all have it. Apple has it now. Apple, I will say, has been known to be pretty good about they won't share shit unless like multiple levels of injunctions, but they have all your shit too. Like it's all there. So the facial part of it, I'm like for the database, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't need that to be another feature. And I don't want them taking pictures of my kids or like trying to send them in to play a video game. That's the part I go, I'm not okay with that. Like, so, yeah, ESRB, I mean, if you didn't have enough reason to hate them, add this to the list. Because, what the hell? How do you make... Is this the people who got fired by Bud Light? Like, they came over with their bad ideas? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Gotta work somewhere.
God. I don't like it, Jim.
Right, they can't be flipping burritos at, I was going to say something else, but then I just lost my train of thought. I just can't.
You don't really, I mean, you do one flip of the burrito to cook it on both sides. You're not flipping like flapjacks.
I know. I was trying to combine flipping burgers, and I was going to say some other stupid non sequitur, and then I just fucking stopped caring. I couldn't think of something. I just can't care anymore.
Yeah.
I need to get another beer.
All right, Chambers. So for once, we're kind of in tune with the news and Nintendo. There's finally some news. We've been speculating for, I feel like, past couple months almost.
Dropped yesterday. Hot news.
Yeah, they're targeting 2024 for their next-gen console. Now, it's interesting because they are going to be supplying kits to folks to try out. And there is, I mean, basically no information. It's all speculation at this point. Like, what is your memory going to be holding? Is it like still going to be the standard 32 like the Switch was, or are you going to be upgrading it? The only thing they seem to confirm is potentially a window in second quarter or second half of 2024, and that it will be there'll definitely still be like some kind of like cart-based games.
Yeah, the things that are basically confirmed are it's going to be cartridge slot for the games. It's going to have an LCD screen and not an OLED like the more advanced Switches do these days. Speculation being to save on processing power for the system. So it's a good sign right there.
Okay.
I mean, we know it's going to be underpowered compared to everything else. It always is. It's Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone buys that thinking it's going to compete with the PS5, Xbox Series X, or like, be realistic. Come on.
Yeah, it'll probably be as strong as the PS4, so it's always a generation behind. But it worked last time, but we'll see how it works this time. And yeah, like you said, 2024, mid to late 2024 release.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, makes sense. We've been talking about it, like you said, for how long now? Well, even all the professionals are estimating like 20% drops in hardware and software sales because what else are they going to be releasing at this point? They've done everything. And you don't want to blow your load because you need something for the new console.
And that's the thing is, like we've been saying, so like, I still am completely in Jim. I'm going to need you to go ahead and call me the Nostradamus when it happens. When they announce with the big thing that you can play Call of Duty now on Switch, with the release of it, they might tie it around that time, like how the big release for the new Switch, the original Switch was like, you can play Skyrim, which was like, it's fucking 10 years old, who cares, but whatever.
Bro, I was only 6 years old then.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think they're going to be like, you can play Call of Duty, and then I'm trying to think, like, so their new first
GTA
party.
GTA 5 on the Switch. It finally happened.
It'll happen. Yep. That'll be released. And then, I think they'll probably, I have to imagine they got to say, like, a new Mario Kart. Like that, maybe Smash, or like you said, was it Metroid Fusion 4?
Metroid Prime 4.
Or Metroid Prime 4. Like, it's got it, because Nintendo lives and dies by its first parties. I mean, that's the thing that always sells. So I feel like one of those three, as far as a first party, along with news of Call of Duty and everything else. And by that point, they'll probably be like, yeah, whatever Tears of the Kingdom plus all DLC bundled into one neat little thing, that'll probably be available too, with probably like updated graphics or better, I don't know, something.
All the DLC, all in cart and everything like that.
Yeah. I mean, what price point would make it a day one buy for you?
Right now, I don't think anything's a day one buy for me.
Well, we got a year, Jim. You got some time to recoup from the
If it was like $300 to $350, I think that'd be a fair price.
So you don't think they'll bump it right to $4 at this point?
I don't know. I think that might be asking a lot if they bumped it to $4. That might be a little ballsy there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Switch was that.
I think they'd still get away with it, but I think it would probably. I'm gonna assume they want to hit the ground running like they did with the Switch again, and have just like a lot of momentum out of the gate. So if you price it too high, you're gonna definitely eat into that.
Yeah, I mean,
then they could just pull the old supply chain, and then just do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think a reasonable number would be $350 because Switch was $300, right? Or was it $3?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it was $3 or $350. I forget.
I feel like $350 is a good like in between, especially like if they say like if somehow if the deal is being worked where Game Pass and other shit is gonna get brought onto Switch, I think that makes it a lot more attractive for that price point.
Oh yeah,
like that would be huge. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's exciting. They're at least finally saying something. It's long overdue. I don't know. What do you think the chances, though, it gets delayed past 24?
I don't know, because like
what
Nintendo
else could they
really
be
hasn't
doing?
been. What's that?
I was gonna say, what else could they be doing?
That's true. What else could they be doing at this point? And they're not really known for their delays either.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't see that happening, but yeah, that would really shock me if they dropped that ball so hard and had to do massive delays or something.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. You know what? Like, honestly, I give the Switch plenty of shit, but assuming they stick with the same thing, they don't try to go too gimmicky, just give us a better Switch. Keep the whole, like, that's your new handheld. Don't try and, like, separate it out. Don't give me a fucking peripheral that all of a sudden, like, I gotta wear on my taint and, like, jiggle when I, like, no.
Now, don't take away all my fun.
Just do better at controls than the Switch, and I'll be happy. Because those Joy-Cons I don't like.
I really hope they upgrade the controllers.
They really need to. Figure it out. Make it a little bit bigger.
I don't hate the Joy-Cons, but like you could do a lot better.
Yeah, you're Nintendo. You know what, Jim? They can spend a few bucks. I think they can sacrifice, Jim. I think
you think they only
do.
sold 130-some million units, Brian?
Yeah,
I don't know. Hard times.
I know they've been struggling, but come on. I think you know what? They can give us something a little better.
Mario movie? Oh, he did all right. Come on now.
So yeah, I'm excited to keep track of that. But Chambers, as our final topic, and a guy who would not care or not like hearing about this, we're returning to your favorite with Gamers Mad. Why don't you tell us all about Kennedy Hall and what his beef is with gamers?
Fucking. So this Kennedy Hall guy, he describes himself as a journalist, an author, a Catholic, and a Canadian. So,
Ooh, that last part.
0 for 4. But so he says, and for anyone bitches, I'm Catholic too, so shut the fuck up. Did your principal of your school fist fuck a kid into suicide? No? Well then shut the hell up.
God damn it, Jim.
That's what happened. You can look it up.
I went to the same high school. I don't need to look it up. God damn it.
Look it up, Brian.
I don't need to look it up.
Brian, we live all the fun. Fun times had by all. But yes, from Kennedy Hall. And, oh, God. All right. So these fucking... We used to have a blue check on Twitter. We tried it. Didn't really do a lot. More of a hindrance than it's worth. But all these assholes who write these fucking novellas on this goddamn timeline. So Brian, if I may, the problem with video games is mainly that they are juvenile. When a child plays make-believe with friends, it is a playful stage he grows out of. When a grown man plays video games, he is playing make-believe with his friends like a stunted child. If a grown man plays make-believe with a child, then he taps into a childlike state for the sake of the child. If he were here to act the same way with a grown man, it would be disordered. What is worse is that if video games mock that childlike state by inserting adult and grotesque content into any type of activity that is reserved for childlike innocence and play. Furthermore, video games act as a form of escapism, as do pastimes in such other cases, but it is doubly offensive and is an escapism into a world where he pretends to be a hero in a land with no consequences. This differs from in the enjoyment of other forms of art like movies and books, where there is clear separation between the recipient and the created work. Whereas with video games, a man titillates his ego with a fantasy wherein he is the lord of his non-existent destiny. When a man reads great war heroes, he is humbled by the fact that they are greater than him. When he pretends to be them, he conflates his virtual titillation with a reality that is not even real.
How did gamers take this, Jim?
You know what, Brian? I gotta say, I think we're growing as people, Brian. I think the gamers are growing. I think they're learning a little bit. Because there was outrage. You have your quote tweets. You have your classic ratio on Twitter. But the numbers, Brian, they just aren't quite what they used to be. Now, I could wax poetic and bitch about another self-important guy blah blah blahing about how video games blah 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 and you can blah 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 your blah blah blah. But what I'm more interested in with this gamer's mad is just by the lack of care, really. Relatively to what we've seen from other posts like this. Like 700 quote tweets. Big number. Not huge. Only 280 likes. That's way smaller than I would expect. Only 440 retweets? Like, man, this is like that kind of bait that the gamers would cream over quoting and, making himself look better to the other gamers for. And I think at this point, we're all just tired and sick of it. And we're just sick of the same old song and dance. Maybe we're learning, Bri. Maybe me and you had a part to play in this.
It's possible. I mean, Jim, let's play some devil's advocate on this one. Is he actually wrong?
Not fully, I would say.
Like if you break it down. Okay.
This is a man who's never heard of LARPing, by the way. You think grown people can't play make-believe? Sir.
Well, so I thought about this. Whatever. He wants to define juvenile versus acting grown up, which is right there. The fact that you're trying to define it, this is one of those guys that, if you're not spending all your time at work, or in his case, for the Lord or for your family, then it's a waste of time.
At least he's not one of these gorilla grind set kind of guys.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. So he has issues with escapisms, even though he said movies and art. But at the end of the day, if you were reading, if you were doing anything where you have to really use your imagination, you're in the mindset of a child, whatever. And then what's weird is he conflates it with but they corrupt it because they put in themes of adult. That's because it's not viewed as a childish endeavor by the people who are making the games, which is why there's a ratings board, which is why they say in some games you have to be older than 17 to enjoy. So it's right there that already squashes his argument. But it's the idea of if by his definition, if you use your imagination, you're acting like a child, then it's you could apply that to goddamn everything. Does this guy play fantasy football? Does he watch sports? And get into it in a sense of, using his imagination leading up to a game. This ideology is funny because I think you're right. Gamers are getting smarter at realizing this is obvious bait. But this is, I'm also okay with recognizing there's still plenty of people out there who feel like this. More people our age now, I feel like if you talk to people you work with, if you said I played a video game, it would not be shunned as much as it would 20 years ago.
Oh, you'd get a and.
Yeah, like it's not even a thought. But if you were someone like, I look at perfect example, like look at fucking Henry Cavill with his like Warhammer 40K obsession, and he gets interviewed by like these crazy, insane, attractive like actresses. And I was watching this one interview, and they're like, so like, what's the one thing you would say like you're a nerd about? He's like, oh, it's easy, like Warhammer 40K, and they're like laughing at him. And then the other guy on the panel actually like also played it, and they became like best friends in front of these girls. Like didn't give a fuck, but it's like if the dude that could steal pretty much anyone's girl is also then gonna get laughed at, like for doing something that takes imagination, you just gotta let it. Like people aren't gonna get it. Like I think it would be different when me and you say like, yeah, when we sometimes we get together and we'll play HeroScape with our friends. If you explain that, you might get a lot more like, what? Versus saying, I play video games. And you mentioned LARPing. Like, there's still levels of nerdism that are very not accepted. I don't know, like, is it better to get to a point where everything's accepted? Like, with those, like, escapisms?
No, because you do need shame. You do need to
no. I know you're half joking about that. I do believe that. Like, I do
No,
believe
I'm not half joking. Dude, you do need to have shame about
you
some
do
things.
need, yes, exactly. And it's like,
I'm the Twitter guy, but I'm exposed to people not having shame way too much.
exactly.
I have a crusty corner, and I still have way more shame than most of these fucking people.
Well, like, you know, and to the casual people we talk to, and like even on Twitter, I'm insanely obsessed with horror. But that's not something I would like share with like everyone I work with, especially older. Like that's something where I'm like, that's a niche hobby that I'm into. That's not something I'm going to explain. Like even my Halloween shit, like
Right, that's how you introduce yourself to people. You're like, hi, I'm Brian. I like horror.
Yeah, but like I don't do that because like I do feel like, you know, that is something that's, it's also like a more personal thing. Whereas gaming, I guess my question to you, Jim, is should there still be some of that old like 20-year ago shame with how much you like gaming? Or has it gotten, we know it's all, the answer is I know it's already in pop culture and everyone's accepted it. I'm saying like, you know, the same way like people like will say like, oh, I just watch TV all weekend or I watch sports all weekend. That's never frowned upon at all. But should there be something about like, if you're like, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I did like 60 hours in this video game. Should you feel some way about that? Or should it be fine?
You should probably feel like you should have at least done something else if you put 60 hours into a video game.
Yeah.
I mean, spend your time how you want. And there's varying things to that, too. Like, if you're single and you got not a lot going on, spend a lot of time playing a video game? All right, I guess. If
I'm fine with that. Like, I want to be clear. I'm fine if that's what you want to do. It's the same like the joke or meme of when a good show comes out on Netflix or whatever, I'm going to binge watch this all. And it's like, nobody would like be like, oh, you just binge watched or like a show, even if it's like good or bad, like that's not really thought of as that bad. But if you said, take that same show that's 12 episodes and you said, I spent 12 hours straight playing a video game, people would be like, what?
Yeah,
like
you'd get that more reaction more than if you said about TV, definitely.
And it's like, I don't know if that is warranted or should still be a thing, but you got to recognize it kind of is. And there are plenty of people like this shithead who he's going to look at you like you're juvenile because you play video games, which is like, yeah, you can dismiss all of his arguments. That question of like, should there be, and shame might not be the right word. Like, should there be some kind of like
self-reflection?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if there should be. I look at it like I play video games in place of watching TV, in place of other escapisms. That is kind of the one escapism that's like, if I'm inside in front of a device, instead of just sitting there on my phone watching YouTube or something, I'm going to play a video game. I'm going to do this or that. I don't go on Twitter. Like, I'll do video games. That's my thing. But should that be viewed in some kind of different context? I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is this guy has that like Jack Murphy beard, so I don't like it. I don't trust him.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing about him. I mean, he's got
probably a bit of a cuck.
There's
a lot of projection from this type.
He's got that like, you can he's got that look that like if he ends up being arrested for some shady shit, you wouldn't be like, I'm shocked.
Oh no, his hard drive is littered with girl dick. You know he's talking about that all the time. And that's all that's on there.
God damn it, Chip.
Littered.
Okay, let me ask you this. If there was one of your escapisms, call it Hero Clicks, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever, that you wish could be super socially acceptable and that there's zero shame surrounding it, what do you wish could be at the forefront? Even if it's something you never tried, like D&D, LARPing, like all the shits that are out there, like all the nerdisms to the highest degree. What do you wish was like just as good as video games and TV at this point?
That's a good question. I guess for like the biggest thing I was obsessed with, like in all of my nerdisms besides video games, was definitely Hero Clicks. So maybe I'd have to go with that one. Because, like, you know, you're playing that shit. One, everyone looks at you like, the fuck are you playing with? And then, you know, you're lucky to meet one out of every 50 people who might have even heard of it, if that. Like, it was still kind of niche even among, like, the tabletop kind of shit, too. And even among, I told the story before, even among tabletop nerds, you got ostracized for playing that because it wasn't nerdy enough.
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean you buy that pre-painted shit, pussy?
Yeah. Fucking call yourself a tabletop player. Fuck Eddie. And when I was playing that was before the MCU. So fucking, like in Marvel and comic books to the extent that people do now, or at least pretend to, like, that was not a thing back then.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, so you were double dipping into nerdism. Yeah,
Trailblazer Brian. Good old Trailblazing Jimmy at it again.
Hey, you introduced me to that, and Orloff introduced us to HeroScape. I fell face first into that. You introduced me to that, like I was completely receptive to it. I don't think anyone else in our friends did Hero Clicks. Even though we did HeroScape, no one wanted to do Hero Clicks.
Yeah. All of our college friends, all a bunch of engineers, so, you know, still nerds, they were all like, oh yeah, HeroScape, this looks cool. And I was like, hey guys, what about this one too? You get to move the dial and take all your health. And they're like, nah, we're good. I'm like, fuck!
They're like, that's too nerdy. They're like, you don't get to build your own map. Come on, nerd. You know what? Like I said, the one thing I wish I had known people or gotten into was a Warhammer or even Dungeon and Dragon, like something where like you do have to paint or craft or do something, have these crazy tables. That dude, what's his name? It's Joe something. He's married to Sofia Vergara.
Joe, what is it, Manganiello or whatever?
Yeah. He's apparently a huge D&D nerd, and I saw like he had a custom table built at his house, like just for his D&D nights, or I forget. I think it is D&D, but like he had like a legit just table built in this room. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Like Big Show goes over there and plays it. Like all
rules.
These random ass people like that. You're like, you wouldn't have ever suspected would be friends. That is something I could have seen myself getting really into. Because, like, you know me. When I get into the lore of shit, I get into it. So that would have been something that, like, if that was at the forefront, I think I could see myself have gotten really into that shit.
Brian, what do you think your evolution of nerdism is going to be? What do you think is going to be the thing you slide into, or that you want to slide into? I'm definitely going to be model train guy when I'm older. I'm already calling it now. I'm just going to sit there and watch my choo-choos go in circles.
You know what? When I was a kid, I was model cars. I could see Legos just because, like, today, my son, like, had a pretty decent size, like, Lego kit. And he, honestly, with me just, like, every once in a while pointing, like, he did it all himself. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, okay. I loved Legos as a kid. I love how much shit is there. I could see, like you know what I build out for, like, Halloween for, like, my, like, spooky town? I could see building, like, a Lego thing, like, because he's into it. So it's really going to be really what he's into. That, I don't know. Like, I think that's probably where I'm at. What I will say is, as far as nerdism is concerned, and you pointed it out, collecting, when I went to Goodwill and found those games, boy, was I shocked. But what I haven't been shocked about is the Goodwill up near us that you and I always frequent. I've been going for the past, like, 4 weeks, and the goddamn treasure trove of horror movies I've been finding. And I'm not talking like your standard, like, oh, you see Red Eye. I'm saying like 70s, 80s, like Giallo, like.
But Brian, it's got Cillian Murphy.
Oh, I know. He's the hot thing now. Like the movies I'm finding, I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like $2 a disc, but like I will literally walk up to the counter. At one time, it was like I paid like $40 worth of like. I'm walking up to the counter with just all these discs, and my horror collection has probably doubled over the past month, and I gotta stop because I don't know where they're getting their goddamn collection from, but I love it. So yeah, that train is gonna keep on rolling.
Welcome to the life, Brian. Welcome to a world of never-ending useless shit on your walls. It took a while, but it finally happened.
It's something I welcome, Jim. It is fun. Getting into the habit is fun, and those days, like when you used to go collecting, when you'd be excited to go, that feeling of like, and when you see something, there is a physical like excitement. Oh my god, I felt like there's so many emotions in that moment that's the hunt is the thing, right? Like that's the drive. I mean,
the hunt's the big thing, and every once in a while, like that's why I did a lot of stopping too, because like after a while of just going so many times and finding nothing, you just go, what's the point?
Yeah.
Where you gotta have that boost kick in, that dopamine rush.
Yep.
So you have other things you want to collect for, and you're just like, ooh this. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna get its claws into you deep.
I gave up on games, man. Like,
and then you're gonna fall into these things where you're like, oh, I have so many of these, but I have like one left. Do I spend the money to just finish it off?
1000%. You and I have talked about this. Unless it's like really gonna hurt you financially, I am all for it. Like one of the random few little like toy things I've collected is the Todd McFarlane monster ones. I think I'm missing like one from the original like set of the monster things. It's gonna be like $40 at least. I'm like, whatever. It finishes the collection. I know I just need to do it.
$40, amateur.
No, I know. It's nothing compared to what you put out. But
fucking spend $150 in a Splatterhouse LCD game, then you can get back to the motherfucker.
Dude, I said it with horror games. You know where I'm at, man. I almost was willing to pay $90 for that Resident Evil long box until it was cracked. And I was like,
for a beat up vanilla Resident Evil.
Yeah. But you know what? Fuck this guy. I will continue with my juvenile acts of playing video games, and I will be enjoying them and using my imagination and being the hero of my destinies, Jim.
Yep. He can keep his Christ in his girl dick. I will play my hentai games like a goddamn gentleman.
God damn it. Maybe you just need to beat Tetris 99 first.
Maybe I should put my priorities elsewhere. Maybe I should have, speaking of dopamine, maybe I should finally feel that one.
Oh man, you talk about dopamine. You're gonna have a dopamine fucking crash after you win that. It's gonna hit you so hard.
Either that, or I'm just not gonna enjoy it. I'm just gonna go. Finally,
you won't even wait to see the final screen. You just throw the Switch.
After 600 tries, what is there to enjoy? It's just relief at that point. It's not joy. It's just relief.
Jim, what would piss you off more? Wow. It's really a question. How much would it piss you off? If I came over one time, I was like, oh, like, I need to go to the bathroom. Can I borrow your Switch? And in that time, I won for you.
Oh, Brian, there's a reason why I specifically not tried to play on, like, your Switch or let other people play on a Switch. Because I know someone would get the first win on my system. So either someone else would get the first win, or I would get my first win on your fucking Switch, and it would never say it on my goddamn account. And it would never happen again.
Which would piss you off more, if I got the first win on your system or if you got a win on mine? Which one would hurt more? Because at least if you did it on mine, you personally know you have it.
I don't know. I really don't know. Both are awful. Both are nightmare scenarios.
Jim, you know what? One of these Thirsty Thursdays, you're going to come over, and we're just going to both play on our Switches, and we're going to live stream us just drinking and trying to beat it.
You got to do some kind of split screen thing where we both fucking...
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we can't start our next game until the other one finished.
We'll just keep handing it back and forth. What if every time you hand it to me, I won?
That would be a Thursday for the Brian. Might be the end of the show. Might be the end of my life.
So, Chambers, how'd that Rush beer treat you? Your first official beer that wasn't drank by your contractors.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to enjoy at least my beer in my house. But yeah, it's a very solid golden ale. It's honestly not my favorite beer in the world, but it's the gimmick of having it for my favorite band, so it's enjoyable enough. And then, of course, after that, to wet my whistle, had one of me good old Keystones. This is actually the only one I had cold in my fridge, too, so I'm a little low.
Are you keeping one Rush beer sealed?
I'll keep one sealed for, I've given a couple away. I'll keep one sealed for, perpetuity.
Yeah.
But then, the rest I do want to go through before they're, bad.
Yeah, you got to go through them.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I, Lining Kugels. I don't know which one I'm tied between the peach and the summer shandy.
Not the berry? Not the berry Weiss?
Well,
Or
I don't
Weiss?
have that one here. I have the honey lemon light, which is fine, but my God, there's the flavor is so low on that guy.
Oh, real quick interjection. So fucking TikTok, for whatever reason, they decided to make Busch Light their fucking meme beer of choice. So my one fucking coworker's because I'm all about my Keystone. He's always it makes me feel too full and I don't like the taste. You should try Busch. It's actually really good. I was like, all right, I'll try a case. You think fucking Keystone has no flavor? Fucking Busch Light it's not undrinkable or bad, but man, you want to talk piss water. That is fucking piss water. And light piss water at that.
Yeah.
Busch Light fucking blows. What is wrong with you, fucking TikTok? Another reason TikTok sucks.
Well, Jim, it's like every beer, like PBR, that became the beer.
At least PBR has flavor.
It does, but if you remember,
it makes my asshole bleed, but at least it has flavor.
You were also quite angry back in the day when that was the thing. The grass was greener, right? When that was the worst beer that people raved about, and they were doing it ironically. Now it's Busch Light, which is terrible beer, and I think that is part of it. I think you're also probably seeing people who, most of them are probably underage, and to them, it is this is beer, it's cheap, it's like...
Oh, I don't care about that. Everyone underage should drink.
No, but I'm saying, so to them, that probably is, tops. They're like, oh, this is great. They're not a seasoned drinker like you, Jim. They haven't lost hope in humanity yet. So, you know what? Let them have their Busch Light,
Man. It'll be real interesting to see what I look like as long as the page keeps going. Ooh,
You know what it is, Jim? I think you've definitely inspired me. We got to have another blind taste test. We got to put all the super shit we got to put Keystone, Busch.
Keystone versus Busch versus Natty.
Oh yeah, we got to do Natty. We got to find the bottom of the barrel of the lights, and we'll even throw Yingling light beer, the one we really hated. We're going to throw them all.
Oh God, that is awful.
We're really going to test it out and see what's...
Ooh, time to buy some Jenny. Get some Jenny lights.
Do some Jenny. Yeah, we'll do it all, Jim. But
shit, there was some really cheap fucking brand at the beer distributor the other day that I was like, ooh, I should grab this. This looks extra garbage, but I didn't do it. But I can't remember the name right now.
I think we got to go there with $50 and be like, how much bad beer can we buy for this much?
That'd be a nice little post for the patrons. Putting your money to good work. Just
Yes.
buying as much swill as we possibly can.
Exactly. I like it. So with that, everyone, I am glad Jim's back. I wasn't happy about our crusty corner, but God damn it, if you're supporting us, I do appreciate it.
Anyone out there, $1, you can have Brian. You can have him almost for a short time be as miserable as I am every minute of every day, and enjoy this crusty corner segment.
So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. It would mean a lot to us, help us out, and hit that notification bell so you can see when we post each and every new episode or short or video. If you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, hit the subscribe button, and if you give us a 5-star rating, we will read each and every one of those comments on these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers, everybody.